Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. For today's video, I'm going to be doing part 2 of my perfume diaries, and I'm going to be updating you on my March perfume tray. So I have some fragrances here that we are going to be talking about. I'm just going to let you know which ones I wore a lot, which ones were my favorite, describe them to you guys, and also talk about some that might be leaving my collection as well. So with that said, if you would like to hear my updates on my perfume diaries, just keep on watching. All right, so let's start off with my possible declutters, fragrances that I don't think I'm going to keep in my collection. I'm not obsessed with, and I have been trying them and testing them out, but these are just not doing it for me. So I'm going to start off with the first one, which I am very sad about because this could possibly be one of the most beautiful perfume bottles that I have ever seen. I love looking at it. I love to display it in my collection, but I've been trying to wear this fragrance a few times already, and it does not work on me. It is really sweet and it's a really pretty scent, but then there's something in here, I don't know, it just makes me think of maybe like licorice or something, and that's just not mixing well with my skin, almost as if something, I wouldn't say burning, but close to that. And this is by Surgeoff, and this is L Anniversary. So I think this is such a beautiful fragrance. The bottle is so beautiful. Just because of the bottle, it makes me sad that this fragrance just did not work out for me. When I first smell it from the bottle, I love it, and it kind of reminds me of a fragrance. I feel like it reminds me of a few Guerlain fragrances. I can't pinpoint which ones, and maybe some Givenchy as well. Like some of those fragrances that I have tried from those two houses, kind of like Givenchy, I think it was Irresistible, but the one that came in a different bottle and it was limited edition, it was super duper sweet and gourmand. That's kind of what this reminds me of, but then it's mixed with something that smells a little off to me. And I put this on one night to test it out, and my husband came up to me and he was just like, "Ooh, the one that you're wearing today doesn't smell that great." And I always tell him to be honest with me because I love to get his feedback, and I was feeling the same way about this one without telling him anything. I was just wearing it and he told me the exact same thing. So this fragrance is very sweet to my nose. It's very fruity as well, and this has a lot of fruits. This has red fruits, it has lychee, green apple, which I actually do pick up on the green apple. It's almost like one of those like sour Jolly Ranchers or something like that. I don't know, it just makes me think of a candy, a candied fruity scent. There is licorice in here, so the licorice is what's bothering me. I think everything else would have been perfect. If this didn't have licorice, it probably would have been a favorite for me, but I do pick up on that licorice, and it's crazy because I completely forgot about the notes, and that's what I'm picking up the most in this one, which is probably why it's making me think of some Givenchy fragrances and some Guerlain. Especially Guerlain, they love to use licorice in their scents, so that's most likely what's bothering me with this one. But the longevity is amazing. In case any of you guys are curious about this one, the performance, the sillage, I mean, everything is on point. It's just that the scent itself is not for me, but it's a very pretty scent, and it's one that, even though it's a niche fragrance, I would say is Amy approved if you like that type of scent, because it's not too complex. It's just not for me, unfortunately. And this next one, I'm actually pretty bummed about this one as well, because I really like the bottle, and I hate when I fall in love with bottles and the way that they look, but then the perfume just doesn't work out. And this one is by Juice Box Perfumes, and this one is Cheeky Smile. First off, you have to admire this bottle. It's like frosted glass on the sides. It's like a little vinyl as a cap. It's just so beautiful. The bottle is super heavy. And what I love the most about Cheeky Smile was that it kind of has the same DNA as Juliette Hazigan Not a Perfume, as Juliana's perfume 13 of Hearts, which, by the way, look at the dent on my 13 of Hearts. I have been wearing this one so much, and the reason why I love this one is because even though it does have that kind of like molecular, very thin and airy type of vibe, it still has something to it. Those fruits still come through. But with Cheeky Smile, I feel like it started, like it opens up that way. It opens up beautiful. The opening notes, it makes me just want to bathe in this, and that is Iso E Super and Ambroxanide. So there's ambroxan. All of those notes I've noticed that I am a big fan of. But then when it starts to dry down, I'm just not a fan of this one. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't smell bad. It smells really good. It's not sharp. It's not headache inducing. It's beautiful. But then I'm kind of just left wanting a little bit more. So if I do end up keeping this one, I'll probably keep it to use it kind of as a base perfume and then maybe layer with it. But I'm not really into layering perfumes together. I usually layer body care, body mist, and then finish off with a perfume. But I don't want to be mixing perfumes. Like, I don't want to do all that extra work to make a perfume work. I just want to spray it and I want it to be great. And the way that this dries down on my skin is just not the best. So the way that it opens up, obsessed. It kind of reminds me of Not a Perfume, 13 of Hearts, that type of thing. But since I already have those and I don't have to do nothing with those, I'd rather keep those. And this one I'm just gonna get rid of. Even though I love the bottle, I love the way it looks, it just left me wanting more. But if you just like a plain, not plain, I don't want to say plain, but when I say plain, I mean there isn't a lot of florals in here, there isn't any fruits, anything like that. It's more if you love kind of like that smooth, woody, cashmerean type of fragrances, you would absolutely love this. I just felt like I was left wanting more. I was a little underwhelmed with this one. So those two are the ones that I'm going to be letting go of. Now we're going to talk about all of the fragrances that I have been using since my last update. I'm going to start off with one that does not get talked about at all. Barely. I barely hear people talking about this perfume and I love it so much. And I've used it maybe like 4 or 5 times, especially when it's bedtime. I like to wear this for bedtime, or let's say I'm waking up on the weekend and we're gonna go have some breakfast with the family or something and I want to wear a perfume, but I don't want it to be too much because it's morning time. I need to eat. I need to get myself right. I don't want to be smelling like a bomb. I love this type of perfume for that. And this fragrance, I don't even know if it stayed in the collection or if they ended up discontinuing it. I have to check that out. This is one of my favorite releases from Juliet Has a Gun, and this is Ego Stratus. I have loved this since the minute that it was sent over to me. I was just in love with this perfume, and the bottle is like this super dark blue color. I love this so much. This is like the perfect unisex perfume. A man will smell so good with this, you would just want to eat him all up. But then a woman can wear this and it just smells super refreshing, really nice for morning time, really beautiful for springtime, for bedtime, for day-to-day wear, for running errands. And this has a note that I have been searching for a lot in other fragrances and it's not as popular. You don't see it as much, but this has blueberry and I can pick up on that blueberry. So it makes it smell just very juicy and fruity in a very watery, refreshing way. So this is described as a citrus, aromatic, marine type of scent. It's musky, it's fresh. I agree with all of that. And there's also a little bit of this fresh spiciness that comes out of it, but it's very minimal. It's not loud, it's not obnoxious, it's beautiful. This has bergamot, it has lemon, mandarin orange, sea notes, blueberry. There's even neroli in here, which I have been hating on neroli so bad, but I can't pick it up in here that much. There's peach as well, which I do pick up the peach, but again, all of the fruits that you're smelling in here is washed over with water, like ocean water, and it just makes it smell so refreshing. And I love the scent bubble that this creates around me. Anytime that I'm wearing this perfume, I'm going to smell it all over, and it lasts a pretty good amount of time too. Like, it will last me all day when I'm wearing this. So if you're like me and you love those second skin, musky, kind of marine, refreshing type of scents, and you want it to have a little bit of a twist to it, you want it to have some fruitiness to it, check out Ego Stratus. I hope this was not discontinued, but I would try to find it, and if I do find a link to it, I will put it in the description box for you guys. So that is my first one that I was just so obsessed with the past 2 weeks, along with another Ellis Brooklyn perfume, and this one is Apple Love. So this one right here I love to use for layering for some reason, and like I said, I don't usually layer a lot of my perfumes together, but this one for some reason just goes so well with a lot of fragrances. And this is mainly apple, but I would not compare this to Kayali's Eden Juicy Apple. After having them for a couple years sitting in my collection, I feel like they have developed into their own scents. Kayali Eden Juicy Apple to me is way more musky than this one is, and I also pick up a lot of the red apple and berries in that one. When it comes to this one has peach. This one has that apple that is very crisp, but there's also sugar and there's also vanilla in the base. And I pick up on those notes. I pick up on the vanilla and it kind of sweetens up the apple. It's so good. This, if you love shampoo-y scents, if you love to smell clean and fruity and fresh, Apple Love is amazing. The longevity is not the best when you first get it. And I think I almost decluttered it because of that, but something just told me to keep it because every single time that I put this on, my husband gives me a compliment. So I'm thinking it's one of those that maybe you could get a little nose blind to, but everyone else can smell you for sure. And with time, it has been lasting longer and longer when I wear it. And it has been feeling a little more dense and a little thicker. So the performance does get better as it sits. If you love apple, if you love fruity scents, juicy, a little musky, that vanilla and sugar really sweeten up the base, go ahead and check out Apple Love. It was a favorite for me this month. This next one is a limited edition perfume, but this is the only perfume that works for me from the Donna Born in Roma line. I have had others in the past that I enjoyed, but this one just impresses me more and more. The longer I have it, the more I wear it. I'm happy that I got the huge bottle of this, and this is Donna Born in Roma Pink. So this was released, I think, a couple years ago, and this fragrance is beautiful. So I do have the really big bottle. This one is like a vanilla, then it has like this citrusy touch to it that makes it feel very flirty, very youthful, almost playful. It's not as serious as the original Donna Born in Roma, which that one still isn't super mature to me or anything like that, but to me it's definitely a little bit more grown, a little bit more, I wouldn't say serious, but maybe like sexy. And this one is kind of more like playful, a little bit more flirty. It's definitely more easygoing. I have heard people comparing this to, I think it was Oriana. I've never owned the original Oriana, but if I'm not mistaken, I think I have had samples of it, and I can see how this can be kind of like compared or mixed with that type of DNA. But it's really sweet, it's really citrusy, and it opens up really bright and pretty, and it's super girly. This pink color that they chose for it is just perfection. And another combo that I have been loving to wear since these were released have been these two together. Oh my god, if you mix these two together, it's so good. It's like a sweetness. Since this has vanilla, it kind of just meshes well with the thickness of this one while giving it a little bit more muskiness. I love them together. Super girly and just like flirty, beautiful scents. I also really enjoyed my Marc Jacobs Daisy Love Daze, which this is also a limited edition perfume, but there are websites where you can still find these types of fragrances like FragranceNet. There's other websites as well, and even eBay, you can definitely find good fragrances there. Just make sure that the seller has really good ratings and you'll be good to go. I haven't had like a bad experience from eBay. Also, Mercari has a lot of discontinued scents, but this is one of the most beautiful fragrances from Marc Jacobs. It is mixed with, I believe, is osmanthus and apricot, if I'm not mistaken, but it still has the sweetness from the original Daisy Love from Marc Jacobs, but this one has like that peachiness to it without it being too youthful or too juvenile, without it being too extra. It is like a more smooth type of peach because of that osmanthus as well. This one also has like a creamy feel to it, so it's not like airy like some of the other ones I was talking about, or thin. This one's definitely a little bit more dense and creamy feeling, and it is just like a sweet, fruity, smooth perfume with a little bit of a powdery touch in there, but it's not super powdery or anything like that. You definitely do get that touch of powder in there, and it really smooths out the fragrance and makes it really pretty. This one, the longevity, I will say is average. I can make this last like 4 to 5 hours, I would say. When I wear it overnight, it's very soft in the morning. It's not like strong or anything, but it's just beautiful, and it's perfect for every day. When you want a fragrance that's just gonna smell good and you're not trying to break your mind trying to figure out like, is this too much, or this is just easy reach, pick up and go, spray yourself and you're good to go. So I love to have these types of perfumes in my collection, and it's super girly and super beautiful, but this one is not as youthful or juvenile as there's another one, I think it's called Oh So Sweet, which I loved and I finished up, but that one gave more like younger or youthful vibes, but this one gives more of a grown-up, I want to be flirty and pretty type of vibe. Up next we have an oldie. I'm kind of talking about a lot of older fragrances today, but this one is Dolce & Gabbana, and this one is the original Dolce. I have been wearing this fragrance for more than a decade, on and off obviously, and I would say this is like my third bottle. This is a bigger bottle. It's 2 point something ounces, but it has a pretty good dent going on, and this is about as floral as I will go. So it's definitely a floral perfume for those of you who love to smell more floral, but the florals in here are intoxicating. They are kind of like in between little water droplets, so just think of florals but very dewy and wet and refreshing, almost aquatic. Nothing is too sharp, even though I can see how some people could be a little bit sensitive to this one for sure, because this one is one of my more floral scents and I'm not really a floral person. But if you love floral, this one has a little bit of like a green touch to it as well, along with that dewy kind of like morning garden type of scent to it. It's also musky, and this one doesn't have those floral notes that we see in every single fragrance. So this does not have jasmine, but it does have narcissus. There's also water lily and amaryllis, which is my name, but that is a really big flower, and I have never really seen perfumes with that note before, so that was surprising when I looked these up. And then the base is musky, so it is going to be a musky floral scent. If you're kind of sensitive with musky scents, this one's pretty high up there to me in the musk. But it also has neroli, which I will say I pick it up just a tiny bit, just a little bit, but it's not loud and it's not obnoxious like other neroli scents can get. And it also has papaya flower, which kind of, to me, kind of sweetens it up. So that is Dolce. Definitely recommend it. You can pick this up for such an affordable price on FragranceNet. I will go ahead and link it in the description box if it's available. Sometimes they have them in stock, sometimes they don't. Now for my clean days that I just want to be a little bit more sporty, not so girly, not so fruity shampoo type of vibe, but this still kind of gives off that in a more clean way. So I'm gonna start off with Ellis Brooklyn Myth, which is one that I've had for a few years, and I love this one for just that casual days. Maybe I'm wearing leggings with something very casual, maybe I'm wearing like a cap, sneakers, and I just want to smell clean. This smells kind of like a men's bar of soap. To me, it almost has like an aquatic touch to it, or like fresh. So it's very clean, but not in a super girly way. So this one has florals like orchid, there's pink lotus. This one does have jasmine, but the jasmine is not too loud for me. And then the opening, there is ambrette, which always gives like this very musky feeling to fragrances without it being too sharp or strong. It's not like a super strong musk, but then there is a musk in the base. So if you are, again, sensitive to certain musks, definitely try it out before buying it. And Ellis Brooklyn recently sent me so many perfumes that I have to feature in a haul, and they did send over a Myth, and since I already have mine, I'm going to be separating it so that I can gift it in a nice little box that I'm putting together for my subscribers very soon. So that's going to be thrown in there as well so that one of you guys can enjoy it. So Myth is the perfect unisex, clean without it being shampooey or fruity, kind of like an aquatic touch to it. It's very refreshing and cooling. It's not a warm fragrance, it's not fluffy or creamy, it's none of that. It is straight up like clean, refreshing, just great for a hot summer day. So that is Ellis Brooklyn Myth. And if you are looking for something that smells like Myth, but you want it to be a little more affordable, maybe you don't want to spend that much on the Ellis Brooklyn, check out Juliana's perfume Valencia Grove. I have been testing this one out, and although this one is a little bit sharper to my nose, I'm not sure if it's one that I will wear. It's definitely sharper, but it does have the same vibe as Myth, and this is strong. Like, I think you only need like 1 or 2 sprays of this, because this will, just from smelling the cap, it's getting so strong as it's been sitting in my collection. So I just wanted to give it a quick little shout out because it is very clean. So this one I would recommend to those of you who like very clean scents, almost soapy, even though there is fruits in here, but it's kind of like a mix between Versace Bright Crystal and Ellis Brooklyn Myth. I would say that those two mixed together would give you Valencia Grove. And last but not least, we have Nopalera Bosque Místico, which I have been wearing for the past couple days. I was reaching for this one after I either came back from the gym, or sometimes in the morning I go with my husband, we have breakfast together, and then we come home, I get ready for the day, and I have kind of been reaching for this one a lot. And this one is kind of like those same vibes that I was talking about, like Myth. It's clean, but this one is giving me kind of like what I get with Eagle Stratus, which is clean, but it's also giving me a green touch. There's fruits that are starting to come through in this one as well. And this one is pretty strong too. Like when I spray this one, it lasts me all day long, and it's just very bright and refreshing. So if you like fresh scents, but you feel like they don't last on you, or you want it to be very long lasting, check out this house, because Bosque Místico's longevity is very impressive to me. I did one spray the other day on my arm, and that one spray I kept smelling it for the rest of the day. So the performance is just great. It's getting better and better. So the base for this is cashmere woods, but you do have hibiscus, you have pepper in the opening, which is probably what gives it like that very bright opening, along with citrus zest. There is honeysuckle and orris in the mid. To me, it just makes me think of the color green, but not too green. It's not grass like. It's just not a floral. It's not too fruity, I would say. It's definitely like a fruity mix with a little bit of green freshness. Super refreshing. I think for hot weather this is perfect. So that is going to be the last one that I update you guys on for this video. Let me know if any of these are your favorites, or if they didn't work out for you. Share it with us in the comments section. And with that said, thank you guys so much for spending some time with me today. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I will see you guys in my next video.